Hey there, quirky people. I'm your host, Anna, and today we'll be looking at potential candidates for Green Lantern. James Gunn is coming up with a new DCU reboot, and it's about time that we finally get to see Green Lantern in it. In fact, there's a chance that things could begin with not one, but two Green Lanterns, if not more. It will depend upon whether we get a Green Lantern series, or a movie, or both. The whole Green Lantern Corps should be in play, but I believe that they would be led by both Hal Jordan and John Stewart. So today, we'll be presenting names for both these Green Lanterns. But before we start with them, it would be amazing if you guys would click on those like and subscribe buttons to support our channel. With that out of the way, let's begin with 6 potential candidates for Hal Jordan first. Then, we'd look at 6 actors who could play John Stewart in the new DCU. First up, we've got Glenn Powell. He's a rising star in Hollywood who has done some pretty good work till now. We've seen this guy struggle from the times he appeared in The Dark Knight Rises, where he only got a minor role. Then he starred in The Expendables 3, which was another supporting role. But 2022 turned out to be his most successful year, as he played Hangman in Top Gun Maverick, and then starred as another fighter pilot in Sony's Devotion. Now we want him to play yet another pilot who goes on to become Green Lantern in the DC universe. He has the perfect face, physique, and acting chops for Hal Jordan. In fact, those who have seen Devotion would agree that he and Jonathan Majors would be great for both Hal Jordan and John Stewart. But that cannot happen for Majors, as he'll be super busy playing Kang the Conqueror until 2026. So for now, we should just look at Powell for Hal Jordan. But if you don't like this choice, then I'd suggest Chris Pine. Back when Wonder Woman 1984 was in development, a lot of rumors suggested that DCEU's Steve Trevor could be turned into Green Lantern. While this isn't happening, you cannot deny the fact that Chris Pine would look absolutely stunning as Green Lantern. He is someone who doesn't need to prove how great of an actor he is, so he should certainly be eyed to play Hal Jordan. Since he is in his 40s, I believe that his version of Green Lantern will have been in play for a while, and he could then recruit a young John Stewart to be his partner. But if you don't like this pitch, then perhaps James Gunn could look at Miles Teller. Here's another actor who has been working hard to get in the A-lister space. He proved his worth in Whiplash, but then his stint as Reed Richards totally failed. After that, it took a lot of time for him to return to leading roles, but 2022 was perhaps the greatest year of his career. His performance in Top Gun Maverick was praised on a global scale, and then he also played the leading man in Spiderhead on Netflix. So I believe that past failures aside, Miles Teller could really prove to be a cool candidate for Hal Jordan. He is just 35 years of age, so he could carry the role forward for at least a decade. But if you guys think that a character like Green Lantern needs a bigger name to push the film forward, then James Gunn could look at Ryan Gosling. Green Lantern would just be trading Ryans if this ends up happening. Everyone knows that Reynolds would never want to return to play Green Lantern. So, why not Gosling instead? He would be an amazing fit, and he hasn't made his entry into the superhero space yet. So he'd be a pretty fresh face for the fans to follow. Having a lean physique like Glenn Powell, he could also be the ideal choice for Hal Jordan. But if you don't prefer him either, then I'd suggest my 5th choice, Charlie Hunnam. It's about time Charlie Hunnam got a good comic book role. People have wanted him to play Green Arrow in the DCEU, but how about Hunnam being Hal Jordan? He has been proving his worth in TV shows like Sons of Anarchy and Shantaram, but he has also played a few great roles in films like The Gentleman and Pacific Rim.
Right! Now, put the phone on the ground.
So, I'd say that both Marvel and DC should look at him for potential roles. But besides that, my last choice for Hal Jordan would be James Marsden. This guy isn't a new name for the superhero space. He was Cyclops in the original X-Men trilogy. Then he switched to DC playing Lois Lane's husband in Superman Returns. Even though his career took a dip after that, he has certainly picked himself up with Westworld and Sonic the Hedgehog. He is 49 years old now, so maybe he could come in as an older version of Hal Jordan who is in his retirement age. And he could recruit a young John Stewart to carry the mantle forward. And the first choice for John Stewart for me would be Trevante Rhodes. The new Justice League needs a bit of diversity, so James Gunn should certainly add John Stewart to his Justice League. And Trevante Rhodes would be the best choice to play the part.
Whatever price I have to pay, I'm okay with it.
He is a 32-year-old who could carry the role for several years. Moonlight was his breakout role, but he recently impressed everyone playing Mike Tyson in Hulu's biopic series Mike. So he could play a young John Stewart who gets recruited by an experienced Green Lantern like Hal Jordan. But if not this story trope, then John Stewart could be a little older, and our choice for that is Common. John Wick Chapter 2 was proof that Common is a total badass. Because of his age, the story arcs of John Stewart and Hal Jordan could be reversed. Instead of Hal being the older one, it would be John Stewart who is the more experienced Green Lantern. He could be the one to recruit Jordan for Justice League. And it would be amazing if WB considered Common to play John Stewart. But in the same category, we could also have Sterling K. Brown. He only got to play a small role in Black Panther, which didn't do justice to his acting prowess. So DC could make full use of that by bringing him in as John Stewart. His performance in American Crime Story: The People vs. O.J. Simpson proved he could be engaging and memorable. With his intensity and voice, he would give us a very unique and bold version of Green Lantern. And at the age of 46, he'd be yet another candidate for the old John Stewart bit. But if you think that John Stewart also needs a bigger name, then we could have Idris Elba. James Gunn loves to work with actors that he has worked with in the past, and Idris Elba totally fits the bill for that. He led the Suicide Squad from the front. But since the whole DCU is being rebooted, Elba could be recast in another substantial role. He is a household name who has impressed us with not just Bloodsport, but also with his villainous gig in Hobbs and Shaw. So I'd say that the DC Universe would be a winner if Idris Elba was cast as John Stewart, Green Lantern. But if you think that we need a fresh face, then James Gunn could look at Ricky Whittle. Back in 2019, the American God star Ricky Whittle showed a lot of interest in playing Green Lantern. He suggested that the Green Lantern character needs to be reborn, and he'd be honored to play either John Stewart or Simon Baz. Well, I'd say that it is too early for Simon Baz, but Whittle should definitely be considered for John Stewart. He is still in his early 40s, so he could offer a lot to the character if given a chance. But if you're still into an older Hal Jordan and a younger John Stewart dynamic, then my final choice would be John Boyega. At just 30 years of age, John Boyega would be a great pick for a newly recruited John Stewart. He starred in the latest Star Wars trilogy and also appeared as the lead in Pacific Rim 2. So I presume that he could be a pretty good Green Lantern as well. He has been searching for another leading gig after Star Wars and Pacific Rim 2. But his search could end if James Gunn casts him his DC Universe. What do you guys think about it? Who, according to you, should play DCU's Hal Jordan and John Stewart? Let us know in the comments. And once again, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you prefer our choices. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.